Kash Patel was recently appointed director of the FBI, despite very strong opposition by the Washington establishment. Patel had made enemies by exposing corruption and vowed to clean up the FBI. He wrote a 2023 book about his experiences called Government Gangsters. Corruption in the FBI worsened over the past few decades as it sought ever bigger budgets and power. Appearing in a documentary about how the FBI entraps terror suspects, former FBI Assistant Director Thomas Fuentes admits that it must, quote, keep fear alive, end quote, in order to justify its budget.
If you're submitting budget proposals for a law enforcement agency, for an intelligence agency, you're not going to submit the proposal that we won the war on terror and everything's great, because the first thing's going to happen is your budget's going to be cut in half. You know, it's my opposite of Jesse Jackson's keep hope alive. This is keep fear alive.
The FBI often allows violent attacks on Americans to keep fear alive, like the 1993 World Trade Center bombing in New York. A truck bomb exploded in the underground parking garage, killing 6 Americans and injuring over 1,000. In this case, the FBI and its CIA ally had allowed known terrorists to enter the United States and provided them the explosive material to construct a massive bomb. Most media accounts ignore FBI responsibility, although several excellent documentaries have been produced. The great James Corbett was banned by YouTube several years ago for truth-telling. He recently produced an excellent 32-minute documentary that I linked in the description. The premise is so shocking that most Americans will refuse to watch his video because it must be a crazy conspiracy. But listen to this small part if you care for the truth.
Last winter, the FBI was praised for its speed in cracking the case of the World Trade Center bombing and bringing 4 suspects to trial. Now, there is some evidence that the FBI may have known of the plot in advance through an informant and might even have stopped the bombing that killed 6 people. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has the story.
FBI agents might have been able to prevent last February's deadly explosion at New York's World Trade Center. They discussed secretly substituting harmless powder for the explosives, but they didn't, according to the FBI's own informant, Emad Salem. Unbeknownst to the FBI at the time, Salem recorded many of his conversations with his handlers.
I'm holding 903 pages of draft transcripts.
William Kunstler represents Sheikh Omar, Abdel-Rahman, and several others charged with conspiring to blow up a series of New York City landmarks 4 months after the World Trade Center bombing. That case has not yet gone to trial. Kunstler confirmed newspaper reports of the Salem transcripts. In one, Salem complains to an FBI agent, "Since the bomb went off, I feel terrible. I feel bad. I feel here is people who don't listen." The agent replies, "Hey, I mean, it wasn't like you didn't try and I didn't try. You can't force people to do the right thing."
The mastermind for this plot was a blind sheik from Egypt, Abdel-Rahman. He was issued a tourist visa to visit the United States by the United States Embassy in Sudan, despite his name being on the U.S. State Department terrorist watch list. The CIA had facilitated approval, but after the State Department learned of this, it revoked his visa soon after he entered the United States. Somehow, Abdel-Rahman then got an immigrant green card to remain. Several other radical Muslims were flagged as possible terrorists when they flew to the United States and were detained, but higher authorities intervened to allow entry. Emad Salem, a former Egyptian military officer, was recruited by the FBI to infiltrate an extremist Muslim group in New York. He helped them plan the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and provided them with bomb material from the FBI. Salem suggested that fake bomb material be used in case things got out of control, but the FBI ignored his suggestion. After Salem reported the bomb was loaded on a rented van and was on its way to the World Trade Center, the FBI did nothing. Former senior State Department official Mike Benz provides this summary of one of the FBI's biggest crimes.
And then when the bombs went off and the 1993 World Trade Center bombing happened, to the shock and horror of the world, Emad Salem published his secret recordings with the FBI, even gave evidence to the New York Times. This is the only thing that stopped him from being indicted as a co-conspirator. Is he said, actually, I'm not a co-conspirator in the plot. The FBI paid me to plant the explosive materials, but they told me they would swap it out with phony powder, but they didn't. They let the bombing happen. They made the bombing happen. He basically, said, I mean, this is printed in the New York Times. The audios are on YouTube. Anyone can listen to the Emad Salem. So we know that the FBI effectively bombed the World Trade Center in 1993.
On the sidewalk.